ShartimusPrime, reading comics, toys are hella sick, hella whacking it, taking bad hits, taking back hits, Shartimus, subscribe, I wonder what that one's gonna be. Hey, what's up you guys? ShartimusPrime here doing another Transformers action figure review on the Takara Tomy Transformers masterpiece MP-11NT Destron New Jetron Warrior Thrust. If you're trying to pick this figure up, you can get them. Big. Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below. I'm very excited for this figure. I've mentioned numerous times that Thrust was my very first G1 Transformer. I remember picking him up at Benjamin Franklin's, and I was looking for Starscream, but this is all that they had that was closest to Starscream. I'm very excited for this. We get the foil right there on the side. Very standard masterpiece packaging over here. You can see the figure and all the accessories and stuff. That's how tall the figure is. And then it says masterpiece right over there. Then you get Thrust right over there. And then you just get some warning stuff at the very bottom. This is very light, by the way. Anyway, let's get to it and crack this thing open. And here's Thrust out of the packaging on a NECA display stand. NECA thankfully sent me a bunch of these display stands over here, and these actually work out really well for putting your masterpiece jets on top of this. And Alex, whoa, see, just me tapping it right there, it still stays on, even though I don't recommend you try to, move it around like that. But anyway, I'm happy that works out, so I have a display option. This figure does not come with its own display stand, unfortunately. The masterpiece jets used to come with those, or the Seekers anyway, used to come with them, and now they don't. So I am bummed about that. I have a couple of QC issues I gotta mention, but other than that, I am very pleased with this Thrust figure. It is awesome. He comes with your standard accessories, so let's take a closer look at those. We get our instruction booklet with Thrust right over there on the cover, looking pretty neat. I'm noticing that the color red for Thrust is actually a little bit darker than the actual figure though, and I think this is a little bit more accurate. I don't know, let me know what you think, but I think this could have been a little bit darker now that I'm seeing this image over here. A little gripe of mine is that there are no images of Thrust from the G1 cartoon. I'm used to seeing that in the inside of these instruction booklets. That would have been nice. Probably because it's all black and white in here and those require some color, so that's a little unfortunate, but not a big deal. And then we get this nice collector card, fully in color. Thrust looking awesome right over there. Really cool. And then we get some specs on the back, which I don't understand because I don't read kanji or Japanese, whatever that's in right there, but nice thick card stock. I like it. And we get a little Dr. Arkeville, which doesn't really sit in there too securely. As you can see, he's kind of fallen over. But I like this. This is supposed to be a hologram, actually. I think it looks really good. You can see the sculpt in there and everything. So that's really nice. You can see the little air supply mask and stuff. So that's pretty cool. You can't have him sit there. That will work if you have him sit there, but it's not very secure. It will rattle around. And then as far as all the special features go on this thing, they're all still there from what we're used to seeing with the other Seekers. You get the little radar dealy right there. You want to pull that forward and swing outward. I really like this matted black right over here. Nice Decepticon symbol over there. I'm liking that. And then he has his turbines that function, so that's really cool. So he can get that vertical lift. And he has his extra cannons right over here. You get this air brake. See this? Use this thing from Hot Toys. Let's see if this works. And boom, there it goes. All right, thank you, Hot Toys. Anyway, you get that lifting up right there. It's pretty sweet. I like that. Actual working piston. We get the thrusters right underneath right there, so you can see all that. Very nice gunmetal. Really digging that. And of course, he does have his landing gear, so you can see the wheels. They just pop out like this. Push down right there. Give them to swing out. Then this whole piece flips open so that you can move that down, move it up, and you can collapse it if you wish. So that's really cool. I like that we get all those features. Just taking a quick look at the burgundy color from the G1 Thrust compared to this. This is much lighter. I really wish that they had those pictures from the G1 cartoon so we could use those as reference. But anyway, I do think it still looks very cool. I'm still very happy with it. Again, I love how these can spin right over here. This is just too awesome. I really dig that a lot. So very good looking jet mode. I like it. You get this articulation right here as we're used to seeing. Now I do have a QC issue, but you're supposed to fold these null rays up, and the left side doesn't work so well. This side does. It's just supposed to collapse this in right here and then fold it so that you have, these little extra guns right here at the very bottom. But yeah, unfortunately, this side right here will not collapse in. I tried moving it both ways, and it won't bend this direction, and you can see some stripping right there in the plastic. So it's unfortunate that I can't have that set up. So I might have to try to return this or do an exchange or something, but it would have looked cool having it like that, right? Then looking at these other cannons right over here. These look really cool. I like the sculpted detail in there, so that's pretty sweet. I like them a lot. And to measure out thrust, you can see that he's at about 12 inches long, and he's got a wingspan of about 10 inches. And then for a comparison, here's thrust compared to the only other cone head we have right now in the Masterpiece line, Ramjet. And you can see in this image right here that Ramjet is a little bit longer than thrust. And then here's thrust compared to the original Hasbro Starscream. I've modded mine so that he has the blue nose right over here. I love this figure still, you know, just this sleek design right over here. I just think it looks just a little bit cooler than the newer version, which I actually have as well. But you can see in this image right here that they are the same length. Another thing I wanted to mention, what really bums me out about this figure and the Ramjet not having a stand, is that this classic stand right here still works on this figure. You get this little nook right over here, and then that port is still right there. And as you can see, as I port this together, it just goes right in there. There's no problems at all. It just doesn't have the same angle, so I can get it to stay there. It's just not tilted up as much as the Starscream figure would be, but still, that works. You know, you can get it up on a stand. I like that. I really wish I could have like all 6 Seekers on display like this with their own stands. And then just to clarify how I had this NECA stand ported into this, I used this section right above the hands right here. So I just placed it in there, and then now you have a stand for your thrust. And then for your thrust comparison, you can see the Masterpiece thrust compared to the G1 thrust, and then we have the Classics thrust. Not technically Classics, I can't remember the specific line that this was from, but anyway, you can see how much darker these two are compared to the Masterpiece. And based off of pictures I found online of thrust from the G1 cartoon, he was darker than this Masterpiece figure. So I think Takara really should have given us a darker color burgundy for this. And we're definitely seeing more of a gunmetal color instead of this gray color right over here, even with this Classics version as well. Alright, so let's move on to the transformation. Will you take us away, Bumblebee? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is remove the guns right over here, take these off, and then get the landing gear all in place, move the landing gear. Then there's these little tabs right over here. I'm going to separate this a little bit right here, and then detach that, and then get some space right there with the air brake piece. Or it's not actually the air brake's up here, but this back flap right here. Okay, so now that I have that lifted up, I can pick this up and pick this out right over here. So these two little tabs are important because they plug into the back of the figure, and then this whole section should be able to lift up right. Alright, get that lifted up. This is already looking a little on the sloppy side, but bear with me here. Now the legs, or the wings right over the legs, we can just fold these down and then fold this down right over here. And then we can take the guns, move them. Oh, actually, I just popped that off by accident. I'm just going to move them off to the side for right now, though. And then the arms, we could swing outward. This is very similar to what we'd seen on previous figures. And then the section right here in the middle, we're just going to take this, split it apart, and move it off to the side. So move that off right now, and move it on right down, like there, alright. And then the nose cone area is a bit different. This whole thing, you want to actually rotate. So you, of course, you just move that down, but you want to rotate this around like so, and then swing this piece back, and then move this piece over here, and then turn the head 180 degrees, and then lift it up and back. I accidentally pulled the legs down, but here we go. We're going to pull the leg down right over there as well. Might as well just lift this piece up and tab it into the back while we have it hanging there. So I'll do that, tab that right into those little back ports. You shift this top section all the way down like that. That's how that's supposed to go. Okay. Being a little sloppy with the transformation here, just because it's like, man, they've made so many figures with this mold so many times. Then these pieces move down right here. And then you can see this all kind of coming together like so. Alright? Beautiful, right? Beautiful. Okay. Then we have the legs and the feet. Turn them around. And then we get the little heel spurs right here in the back. Pull this out. Flip that down. Same thing on this side right over here. Pull the foot down, rotate it, lift this up, pull the heel out, and move that down right there. Then get the arms rotated and off to the sides. So we get the arms spinning around, then spin it again, and then move this back here, spin this around, spin it around, spin it again, and we're almost complete. I just want to turn this around over here a little bit. I think that looks a little bit cooler like that. And then this whole section, you could actually slide that down if you want to, and I think that looks kind of cool. And then a really cool thing about this figure is that, you know, getting the null rays on here is nice. It's really easy having the null rays and the cannons that he uses for his alt mode, so that, you know, you don't have to have things put away or anything like that. I always appreciate it when you have a transformer where he can carry all of his accessories with him. You know what I mean? You don't want to have little things that you have to go put away and everything like that. So there that goes. I feel like I should have turned, you know, you could turn these in and out if you want to. I feel like these little spikes coming down right here are just like a little too low. So it might be better to have this shifted up a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I feel like it looks pretty cool down like that, but you could also have them tilted upwards. And then there's thrust all posed. One little piece of the transformation I didn't mention was just pulling these forward just a little bit. And I do have the wings aligned in a way where the spikes are lower like that. I think it looks actually a little bit better, and I have them tilted back a little bit more. And this little piece in the back is a little bit different, so that's kind of new. I mean, not compared to the ramjet, but it doesn't really bother me that much. It really doesn't. You know, at first I thought that was kind of lame, but nah, it doesn't. And same thing with the dinghy hanging down right over there, or his second nose cone, right? But anyway, let's take a closer look at this thrust. Here's looking at Thrust's head sculpt, and I think it looks great. I really like this a lot. I think Takara did a great job over here. I love the facial expression. It's kind of rare to see a Decepticon without red eyes, but in the G1 cartoon, he did have the gold eyes, as we see right here in action figure form. I do like that black lining around the eyes too, even though it seems like it gets kind of hairy in some spots, but only a little bit, really. It's not that much to really bother me. Yeah, I really like the color choice for the face, and I love how different it is from the Ramjet Masterpiece figure. As you can see right here, a little comparison between the two. So both G1 cartoon accurate. I really like that a lot. So yeah, and the old from my G1 figure, I remember having him set up with the giant cone, and that always bothered me. So having, you know, the proper height of the cone right over here, I think is really cool. The little sculpted detail right there. I do have the little hologram falling over inside. Love the gunmetal color that we're getting for the turbines right over there. That's pretty sweet. And of course, you could flip those up, and we get some nice silver paint on the inside of those. So that's pretty cool. Digging that. And again, you know, we've seen a lot of resculpted parts over here. This, you know, this mold has been redone several times. The null rays look really good. And then right here on the crotch area, we get some nice silver right over there. I guess slight color change between the actual crotch piece and this hip part right there. And then the hands look really good. Some nice fingers and everything. And then you get those big old purple knee pads that we did see in the G1 cartoon, which was not on the G1 figure, but I like having them here. You know, it reminds me of the G1 cartoon, so it makes me happy. I'm cool with it. And I wish this figure had ankle pivot. It's just a little gripe of mine, but yeah, looking really cool. Overall, I'm very pleased with this. And here's looking on the back again. And you can see this piece right here for the heels and everything works out fairly well. And looking at the back, you get that cone dinghy hanging down. And then right over here, yeah, you can't really avoid not having this gappage. It's just going to be there. It's a bit unfortunate, but really not the worst thing in the world for me. You could try shifting this up a little bit, but that's not really going to help. So yeah, you're just kind of stuck dealing with that gap. Now for articulation, you can turn his head side to side this much. It won't go more than that. You can kind of lift it up and tilt his head back. So I think that's really cool. You can't, well, I guess you could look down if you want to shift away like that. So that's pretty neat. And you do get a little bit of head pivot right over here too. So yeah, a lot of good head articulation. Shoulders move outward that much. Let's see how well this stays together moving this forward. That's better. Usually this whole assembly kind of comes apart over here. You can see it shifting up just a little bit, but that's better than what I've seen in the past. So that's pretty good. Moves outward. You get bicep rotation right up here. You get the double jointed elbows. Then you get wrist rotation, and then you get individual thumb and finger articulation. Each of the index finger right over here can bend in the middle, and then the rest of the fingers all bend together. Then we do get some waist articulation that works really well over here. I like this. I feel like this is new. Am I wrong about that? But I don't remember it clicking like that before, but I like it. And then you do get these little flaps right over here on the side, and then on the crotch area, so you can move the legs forward. You can see this want to shift a little bit, so you can move the legs forward that much. You can move them outward just that far. You get upper thigh rotation. You get a double jointed knee. Look how well that bends in there, man. That is really cool. And I really wish this had ankle articulation, but you don't get that. You just get a swivel side to side over here, and then the heel heel can move up and down, I guess, if that counts as articulation. It could help with posing. And of course, if you want, you could move these wings in and out, you know, you could just position it as you'd like, and you can rotate these around too, but I prefer having this tilted back, and then I just have these facing downward like that. And of course, the null rays can move around as you wish too. You can turn these around. God, man, this thing looks so freaking cool. Okay, measuring out thrust all the way to the tip of that nose cone. You can see that he's standing at about 9.5 inches tall, just a little shy of that. Then for your masterpiece cone head size comparison, you can see thrust compared to Ramjet, and they stand at the same height as they should. Then here's our masterpiece thrust compared to the masterpiece MP-11 Starscream, and I really like the height difference between these two. I think this works out really well. If you haven't heard this story before, Starscream was what my intended first Transformer was. And then here's the masterpiece thrust compared to the G1 Precious thrust, and then we have the classics thrust. Yeah, I could be a fan of other YouTube channels. I love MGO. And then here's thrust next to the Marvel Legends Big Time No Letdown Spider-Man. Then here's thrust once again on the Starscream display stand, and why didn't you give us a stand, Takara? Aren't we good to you, huh? Well, why not, man? It works perfectly right here. It plugs in right into that port sticking out of his butt. He has the same port as Starscream, so I don't see why they couldn't have hooked us up with another display stand, because I really like them a lot. I use them on my shelf. So that's my biggest complaint with this figure. Aside from that, the whole thing with this null ray over here not folding up the way I'd like it to, or the way it explains in the directions, that's a bit of a bummer too. But other than that, I still really like this figure a lot. I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and try to get a replacement for this. I don't know. I think I should. These things are not cheap. Again, they're not cheap, and there's no display stand, so that really bums me out. But anyway, hope this review didn't bum you out. If you guys want to go ahead and subscribe, please do so. If you want to hit the like button, leave a comment, please do so. And for all you viewers and all you subscribers, just want to say thank you. I did not post a video on Thanksgiving, and I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you for being a viewer. Thank you for being a subscriber. If you want to see a photo gallery of images, it's over at ShartimusPrime.net. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links all in the description below. I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Posing action figures. I'm posing action figures. I'm posing action figures every day. I'm posing action figures. I'm posing action figures. I'm posing action figures. It's okay.
Crispy.
I do have a QC issue that I need to mention. Whoa.